Okay, 6 Adar. Yom Yom. Let's see what's in store for us here. From my father's Sichos, this is from the Sichos of the Rebbe Rashav. He says, it's a phenomenally great benefit when the Almighty, blessed be He, grants a person merit and he acquires a, quote, feel and a sense of pleasure for doing kindness to another, to the point that the other person becomes more precious to him than his own self. For he may find a number of reasons why he deserves his own tribulations, God forbid, but to do so with regard to the other suffering is absolutely impossible. Good perspective, huh? Okay. U'ashlemus.
Dvor Rachel bat Miriam Chava.
Refuah shlema achshav.
Amen.
Elka Rachel bas Elisa, Baruch ben Yamin ben Rachel Blima, Shoshana bas Hana, okay, Yehudis Golda bas Elisa Hana, and Chava Daniela bas Naomi Hana.
Refuah shlema b'korah.
Chaim bas Sarah.
What? Which? Who?
Chaim bas Sarah.
And bas Sarah. Ohabin refuah shlema.
Avraham Shmaryahu ben Tzippa Rachel.
You say that again?
Avraham Shmaryahu ben Tzippa Rachel.
Refuah shlema.
And Yeshua ben Saraleah.
Refuah shlema. Lessons in Tanya. So we overstepped yesterday. So what we're going to do today is start at the beginning of today and actually do tomorrow as well, Erev Shabbos. Because once again, Shabbos is long. So Erev Shabbos, we will do Shabbos. So we're starting on in Lessons in Tanya, page 361, the bottom of the page. And in the Kuti Amorim, we're starting, it's on page 68, above the middle of the page. The line begins with Samech Aleph for Sitra Achra, over by the period. So we've been speaking about the Mila, the advantage, the positive effect of Hiskafia Sitra Achra, Lasata, that's the expression. Hiskafia Sitra Achra Lasata, to push away the negative down below. And we were talking in the context of having minimally thoughts and hopefully not speech or action, but minimally even thoughts of doing anything that's contrary to Torah. Now he goes on and he says, "V'lo oid." Not only that, this we did say yesterday, but we're chazering it over. Even if your thoughts are something that's and your action is for something which is absolutely permissible according to Torah. Nevertheless, the more that a person literally slaughters his Yetzer Hara, afilu shah kala, even for a moment, and has intentionality to subjugate the Sitra Achra, Shebachalal Hasmali, which is in the left side of the heart. Kigain, and he gives an example. Shechofis lecho, he wants to eat something now. And after his Suda, Adlachashar or Pachas, and after his meal, he's going to, in a while, an hour or less, he's Ba'oisik B'toyer, Ba'oisik Shah, and he will engage in Torah in that time. If one postpones this, and well, first of all, he says the custom was in those days for a Talmid Chacham Sharavius Michael Kodam, excuse me, for an average person, the average time for eating one's breakfast is the 4th hour of the day. Yeah. Sharavius Michael Kodam. And whereas Shashishis, the 6th hour of the day, 2 hours later, is Michael Talmud Chachamim. The Talmud Chachamim delayed their eating. In other words, a permissible thing, but they delayed it. There were iskafia, held back from that, and used that time to learn Torah. So they kept themselves hungry for 2 hours. And they did it l'kavana zu, for this kavana of practicing iskafia of the sitra achra, which come in the left side of the heart. Even though after the Suda, they'll learn all day. So they didn't add to the amount of hours that they were learning. They just changed the Seder and delayed the eating in order to practice the Skafi of the Sitra Achra. Here's another one, which probably applies more to us than to the first one. In boilim pi miladaber davorim shaliboy mesava ma'oid ledabram minyoni oilam. He keeps his mouth shut. He holds back, boilim. He holds back his mouth from speaking things that his heart wants to speak very much in regard to things, affairs of the world. You know, but his implication is that this is not going to be constructive thought. It's just going to be at best something negative that doesn't need to be said, or it could be, if we're going back to yesterday, it would be lashon hora, something that you shouldn't say. But even just holding back something that isn't kedusha and not saying it. Even at the level of thinking, to think something, or in other words, in this case, we're talking about liskafia, to push away thinking something that has nothing to do with kedusha. I feel about atmezera, even if it's just a little bit that you push back on this and don't engage in it, even though, as we said, this is the category of things which are permissible. It's an expression, he doesn't bring it here, but an expression from Chazal, Kadesh atzmecho b'mutulach. A person should make himself holy even in those things which are permissible to that person. And this is the activity of, back on the page, iskafia sitra achra, subjugating the negative forces, lesaton, and pushing them down below. When a person does that, you push the negative forces down below, rid yourself of their disturbances. This is lashon of the Zohar. I think I said this yesterday. Then there emerges, there spreads out the splendor, the glory, the beauty of the Holy One and his holiness up above. And of course, when the principle of what the arousal from below creates an arousal from above, and that arousal from above, that the point of all that, Yikora the Kuchabrichu La'ela, is for the sake of bringing that down here below, and it becomes a cycle of Kedusha. We sanctify ourselves, we arouse his, if we could say such a thing, interest in us, and arouse his glory up above, that should come down, and it becomes a cycle of Kedusha, a cycle of holiness. And Kedusha zu, and from this holiness, and this is now, we're starting Friday, tomorrow. And Kedusha zu, and from this holiness, Nimshekas Kedusha Elyonin, as I just said, from this holiness that we do down here below, there's a hamshocha, there's a drawing down of holiness from above. Ala Adam Lamata, on the person down here below, the soye, the siur rav, to help us very much. Siur rav ve'otzim, a very large and strong assistance we get from above, v'havadasi is borach, in our service of Hashem, may he be blessed. V'zesha Omar, and this is what it says in the Gemara Yuma, Zesha Omar Azal, this is what our sages have said, a person who sanctifies himself or herself down here below. And now this word sanctification has some meaning, right? I mean, what does it mean? I'm holy, I'm sanctifying myself. The meaning that we're giving here to sanctifying yourself is the skafia sitra achra, is to push away the negative, push away the yetzer hara, push away certainly thought, speech, and actions that are against the Torah, and even those which are permissible, not to indulge oneself in them, and to remove oneself to whatever extent you can from that as well. That's called holiness. Remember, I don't know, I'm saying remember, but I don't think we've learned this together, that the definition for Kaddish in the language of Hasidus is muvdal, separate, Kaddish. Hashem is called HaKadosh Baruch Hu, which is an interesting expression, because that's a wonderful contemplation, just those two words, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Hashem is the one who is separate, meaning not that he's not here at all, but his presence is hidden from us. It's not part of the revealed world, especially as you get closer and closer to Hashem's essence. Essence of Hashem is embedded in everything, but not revealed. So we call that Kaddish, and we say HaKadosh. But that Kedusha, that separateness, that essential intensity and revelation of godliness should be Baruch. It should be drawn down and it should be revealed. So every time we say HaKadosh Baruch Hu, it's really a prayer. We call him HaKadosh Baruch Hu, right? It's really a prayer to say that which is hidden should become revealed. So it's just a very nice thing to keep in mind, that because we have opportunities. Hashem, we say many times Hashem is HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and we translate the Holy One, blessed be He. But we mean that his essence, which is separate, should become down, Baruch, revealed. And that's what we're saying here. The more one sanctifies Kaddish, the more you remove yourself, Kaddish, remove from the negative, the more Hashem is aroused to be Baruch, to draw down his separateness, his essential, well, I'm not calling it his essence, his close to his essence, his inner dimensions down here below. Just repeating this. Back inside, a person who Makadish sanctifies oneself down here below, so they sanctify him much from above. In other words, the level of Kedushas, the hiddenness from above, becomes revealed. And besides, by the way, when you do this, besides what we've just spoken about, there's another simple thing going on here. You're fulfilling the mitzvahs aseh shel Torah. The parsha in Parshas Kedoshim, there's a positive mitzvah which says that you should hold yourself to be holy, and that's a positive mitzvah. To sanctify yourself in what's forbidden, and to sanctify yourself in what's mutter to you is a positive mitzvah from the Torah. So not only is it functional in terms of developing a practice and a healing, we'll call it a healing practice of healing oneself from the throes of the Sitra Achra, but it's also, simply speaking, a positive mitzvah to do so. When a person sanctifies himself in terms of what's permitted. What it means to make yourself holy, that you make yourself holy ones. Kloimer, and now he's going to give his definition. What does it mean to be holy ones? Even though in truth you're not, and I'm going to put in the word entirely, you're not entirely separated from Kedusha. Remember, we're talking here about the avoida of a Beinani, and the Beinani has the opportunity each and every day, fewer or more moments each and every day, to do this avoida, because the Sitra Achra has some kind of a voice in the Beinani, but the Beinani doesn't hearken to that voice and act according to it. So if a person has an opportunity to do this, so you're not, a Beinani is not entirely free from the Sitra Achra, because the Sitra Achra remains inside and active in the person with its full strength, just the way it was when you were born. But you've developed now, let's call it a spiritual muscle to deal with it, so that it doesn't, if we're using the muscle of the Alter Rebbe a few pages back about wrestling, it doesn't get off the mat. It's there, but it doesn't get an opportunity to climb up and get the best of you. And that's, in succinct language, the avodah of a Beinoni. That the Beinoni has this continual struggle with the Yetzer Hara, but the Yetzer Hara never takes ownership or the upper hand in the thought, speech, and action of a Beinoni. But it's there. So you're not rid of it. But the more you practice, like anything else, the more agile you become in terms of keeping it in its place. But it's still there, active, kutel doisa, the way it was the way it was, just the way you were born with it in the left side of the heart. Rak, top of page Lamed Hey, if you're following. Rak, except shekayvish yitzra, but you've conquered, you've overcome it. Umekadish atzmai, and you've made yourself holy. It's there, but you've separated yourself from it. The Yasin Kedoshim, and there's the pasuk. This is the end of the pasuk. The Hiskidashtem in pasuk in the Parsha Kedoshim. You will be holy. Sanctify yourself. The Yisim Kedoshim, and you will be holy. Kleiman, which means to say, Soifo Elias Kadosh Umuvdo. And in the end, meaning you've developed this practice, and this is one of the things that we were making our notes in our document, our Google Doc, about what the Alter Rebbe advises. It's a simple expression that and we can even say it in English, that the more you do something, it becomes more second nature. Ergel nasa teva sheni. What you accustom yourself to becomes your teva sheni, your second nature. And in the end, it will be lies kadosh umuvdol be'emes min ha-sitra achar. In other words, though the sitra achar, we're speaking here about a Beinoni, is still present, it will never get a hold of you. And you will be a Beinoni, Avi Tanya, because you have separated yourself and practiced the separation of yourself, either in things which are forbidden, or both in things which are forbidden and things which are permissible. You've practiced that. And practice makes perfect. If not perfect, at least it gives you the strength to become Kodesh Umuvdal, separated by emes, in truth, right, through this, that you practice this avoida of separating yourself, harba, a lot, milamayla, then, you become separated in truth, al yidei, not only through your own practice, but also because, as we said earlier, you're going to get help from above. And it says, they help him. The garsha meliboy, to push away, divorce oneself from the left side of your heart, little by little. And that's today and tomorrow. So, questions, comments? Okay, no. Okay, no. But Bechain is, come on, now let's do a Bechain. Therefore,
Try a little bit at a time. Do your
try
best.
a little, yeah. If practice makes perfect, well, not perfect, but if practice brings success, then practice it. Right? The way you would practice anything. People are running now to all different kinds of practices, from yoga to dance to fusion to art to every kind of practice. So practice this.
I tell you, I tried to, you're supposed to use your right hand for certain things, left hand for certain things, blah, blah, blah. And if you're in a habit, it's very hard to change. But if you are conscious, again, I'm going for the kavana this time.
Right.
Right?
Right.
You're conscious of it, and you push yourself, and you try day by day by day by day by day, but eventually it becomes second nature.
Right.
That's what we got to do. All right.
That's the big bechain for today, I think.
Yeah.
So
Embrace the challenge. Embrace the challenge.
Embrace the challenge. I love that expression because embrace means it's good for you, right?
Right.
Yeah, I love that.
Hashem's put it before you so that you could give him the nachas that the Benoni gives.
Right. Okay, then. Till we meet tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll do the Shabbos piece.
Thank
A good davach.
A good davach.
I mean, we should have a good.
Yes.
The Soyuz titles. Right.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
It's for everybody.
Thank you.